The challenges we were facing were related to gas costs and the risk factor in transporting inmates from the Raymond Detention Center to downtown Jackson. The inmate transport staff was logging in approximately 4,300 miles a month to transport those inmates to the court. As you transport inmates from one place to another, you always have a concern as to that effect on the general public. We have the transporting of inmates from the facility to the court. There's a risk with the officers transporting those inmates, as well as once those inmates are transported to the courthouse, then you have the risk of escape and also the interaction with the public. Our solution was to install the LifeSize video conferencing system in Raymond, Mississippi in our jail, as well as in our courthouse in Jackson, Mississippi.
Initially, before video conferencing, we would have to transport about 100 prisoners, if you were talking about for all of the judges, a day for arraignments. They would travel 12 miles or so from Raymond, Mississippi to Jackson. They would have to remain here, and they would only be brought into the open courtroom, about 8 at a time. We would then talk with them about the indictment and the charges that they would be entering, which take about 5 minutes or so. But that process with about 100 prisoners could last all day. That's to include the transport from Raymond to the courthouse and from the courthouse back to Raymond. Now with video conferencing, the judge is able to remain here in the courtroom with the court administrator, the lawyers for the defendants, and the prosecutor in Raymond. There's no transportation back and forth from the jail to the courthouse, so it saves us 25 miles in cost of gas. I do the same thing, except that there they have a holding room and they can bring the prisoners in one at a time very quickly, take the not guilty plea of the arraignment, and the prisoners is back to either be released or to remain until he makes bond. So that's done now in a matter of hours, as opposed to taking the entire day to take 20 or 30 pleas of not guilty.
The overall benefit of this system for us is a cost savings in transportation, the cost savings in maintenance of vehicles. Also, it creates a greater productivity with staffing, as well as provide a more speedy initial hearing for the inmates.
Instead of 8 hours spent doing arraignments, I now can get that done in 2 to 3 hours. And that's what video conferencing does. It wipes out the time that you spend in court with the inmates doing a very simple not guilty plea at an arraignment. It's a win-win situation for the taxpayers. The cost is minimum. The technology is there for us to do it. And we're moving into a new age where taxpayers expect us to manage money better, but to also manage our duties better. And that's what video conferencing does for us, and that's what I was hoping it would do.
With the Video Center, we can share the live recordings with our staff members, and we can use those recordings for orientations, meetings, and training sessions. These live or recorded sessions are easily accessible to our employees at their desks via their laptop or computer, on their mobile device, or any other device or smartphone. In addition, we have installed an InFocus Mondo Pad in the Board of Supervisors boardroom to allow us to have video conference meetings among staff members who are in different locations of the county. Venture Technology was a great organization to work with. I would certainly recommend it to others who would like to consider this type of solution. The staff was very accommodating in making sure they heard our needs and challenges and made sure they met that challenge with a good solution for us.